Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Thank you for joining me for this video. And the Broncos, they are signing electric wide receiver and kick return specialist De'Mornay Pierson-El. And so he spent the last two seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders on their practice squad. And so he's from the University of Nebraska. And so certainly the way that Nebraska utilized him, it was a lot at that time of like a lot of bubbles and screens, and like quick crossing routes, things like that. And so he definitely was utilized for his speed and playmaking ability. His ability to be out in open space is really, one of the biggest things I guess that you can say about him. And yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit more about him. But first, I mean, he's definitely coming into a roster here, trying to obviously see if he can make the roster of a team that they can definitely use more receivers. I do hear that, KJ Hamler, he's having a pretty good offseason impressing the coaching staff thus far through through OTAs, and then you've got Cortland Sutton. He's coming back from his injury. Jerry Jeudy, last year he had high expectations as a first round pick, and he take another leap in his development. They've got Tim Patrick, so they've got a few guys that they're really going to be banking on to see just what exactly who's going to stick, and where they're going to fall at. But this is a relatively young receiving core that certainly, is just out there in that prove it type of mode. Because obviously, who is ever going out there to play quarterback, whether it's Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, whomever, they're going to need these receivers to step up for sure. And that would definitely help the development of these quarterbacks, no doubt. And so adding a guy like this just adds a completely different dimension in terms of what you can possibly do should he end up making a roster and they choose to utilize him. Or even if it's just in the kick return game, that definitely does help the kick return. I know that special teams isn't what it used to be, even just a couple of years ago in terms of the kick return game, but it's still an asset to have and still valuable nonetheless. And so a little bit more about the morning when he was coming out of high school, honestly. In high school, he was actually ranked among the nation's top 100 receivers coming out of high school. He was also a member of the basketball team at his high school for 3 seasons. He only visited Nebraska, but had offerings from Boston College, North Carolina, Marshall, and Old Dominion. Let's see. And at his time at Nebraska, he was a communication studies major and was named the Nebraska Scholar Athlete Honor Roll of the fall of 2014 and 2016. He's an active member in the community in terms of volunteering his time with uplifting athletes. Make a Wish Foundation, Nebraska sponsorship rally, Lincoln Marathon, and numerous school and hospital visits. And so he's definitely someone that, has a lot of great leadership skills as well. So that's certainly important to note right there. Now, in terms of on the field, what he was able to do, some of his accomplishments, his honors and awards, he was second team All American USA Today, SI, FWAA in 2014, third team All American in 2014. 2016 Nebraska Pat Clare Award winner, and then freshman All American scout for 247 Sports, USA Today 2014, 2014 Jet Award punt return of the year. So obviously, great at punt returning. And that's obviously why Nebraska utilized him in terms of like a lot of screens and stuff, just to get him the space. If you think back to, I guess you can say, like how the Chiefs used to use Dante Hall back in the day, something like that, something similar to that vision is what I envision when I think of someone like De'Mornay for sure. And so he's definitely someone that has that playmaking ability. The way that they go on to describe, Pearson's last year with Nebraska is that he was Nebraska's most dangerous offensive weapon that they had, returning on that team his senior year. Even though they had questions at quarterback, he provided the kind of threat that Nebraska needed, to attack opposing defenses. And his value really went up when you consider what the offense at that time was really trying to utilize in terms of, what success looked like for Nebraska. And at that time, Coach Riley, he definitely, as I mentioned before, utilized a lot of screen passes, a lot of jet sweep, just plays that gets, the shifty playmaker in the space and allow him to go to work, and sometimes, he can be that decoy as well. So certainly that's how he was used at the collegiate level. And so I would imagine that should he, find some playing time with the Broncos, that's certainly a way that they can utilize him there. He's about 5'9", about what 185, 190 something pounds here, and so yeah, certainly on the smaller side, but yeah, he's certainly a weapon, someone that can be utilized out there. For the Broncos, or whomever ends up getting him, because obviously this time of the year we'll see players come and go, but certainly he does have that potential to impact the team, just by his pure speed alone and playmaking ability. But with all that being said, thank you for joining me for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, as more news continues to drop, you can be sure to find it here. So thanks again for watching, and see you guys.